Pokemon as SCPs is one of my longest running, most successful series on this channel, but it's been a while since I made one, so I wanted to return. But I also thought after 8 episodes of the regular version, I thought I'd try shaking things up a little bit. From my mascot horror characters as dinosaurs episode, it seemed like a lot of people missed my Banter episodes, where a few of my characters are having a conversation to present the lore for the episode. And I did kinda miss writing those too. So while the art for today is going to be the same as a classic Pokemon SCPs episode, the narration is gonna be a little bit more on the goofy side. Please let me know what you think of the change of pace in the comments. Also, sorry about the mix-up with video releases. The video that was supposed to go out yesterday is gonna go out Monday instead now, and this video was gonna come out Monday, but now is out now. Let's go. Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone. It has recently been brought to my attention that there is a universe in which entities have remerged, which I once studied intently for 2 decades in my younger years, working for a group called the SCP Foundation. A foundation the likes of which can be found in multiple realms of the multiverse. These entities I once studied in my own universe are thriving again in another, posing problems for the residents of that world. Of course, we have many larger-scale problems to deal with at the moment, but Mr. Benjamin Sharp requested—
You're present and accounted for, right here, Peanut Brittle.
Yes, quite. Mr. Sharp requested to Alexis Jones that I give a lecture on some of these entities to himself and his partner, Dr. Champagne McGregor.
Yeah, I'm here too with a bingo card full of Pokemon on it to see who's you is gonna bring up.
Requested a lecture, to which Ms. Jones replied, "Sure, this lecture will probably be super annoying for you, Dresden." And I can already sense she was correct. These entities have been found in Dimension P069.
P69, huh? Well, that sounds like a real bad— No, Benny, no, stop. I'm stopping you right there. Why, off-screen ain't here. There's no kids listening. At least none that we can see or is directly responsible for. Would you just let the man finish his introduction? God, I can't believe I'm defending Captain McGenocide, but here he is. Go on, Krusty.
Are the nicknames really necessary?
Yeah, I'll say they is. If you don't want nobody ragging on you, well, you shouldn't have done those 200,000 murders you did that one time. Now go on and tell us about the creepy Pokemon you found. I want to play a game and see if I can figure out which one you's talking about.
I understand that in many universes there is a children's franchise which heavily resembles the entities I've studied, but referring to these creatures and beings as Pokemon greatly belittles their capacity for harm.
Right. Just curious. Back when you was studying them and stuff, did you ever manage to catch them all?
No, we were not able to bring all of them into captivity.
Yeah, but that was just— it was a reference. None of you get it. It's fine. Carry on.
I will begin by discussing the entity that in my time was referred to as item number SCP-P452. Object class, Euclid. Special containment procedure—
Oh my god, you actually speak like a blatant SCP file. This is hilarious. Also, did you add an extra P in the classification SCP-P because these things is Pokemon?
No, I was not responsible for the additional classification and never understood why the O5 Council decided to classify these specific SCPs as— Oh my god, they knew they were Pokemon.
Whoa, that's one on the scoreboard for Champ.
What scoreboard are you referring to, and what is the point system in place?
Basically, if I think something deserves a point, I'll just give it a point, and that's how that works.
How am I supposed to attempt to gain points if I do not understand the scoring system?
That right there is a good and logical question that I will not answer, but I will give you a point for that. So that's 1 for you and 2 for Champ.
When did Dr. McGregor gain a second point?
I just really like his head today, so I'm giving him 1 for that. Oh, thanks, Ben. You're looking pretty sharp today too, if you don't mind me saying. I see what you did there. That's 3 more points for you.
Would you mind if I actually get on to the entity at hand?
I mean, Benny said this recently, but we really do less and less of that these days, but yeah, you can get onto it if you want.
P452 is a quadrupedal purple scorpion creature that stands roughly 4 meters in height, and on top of its 4 legs, it has an additional set of clawed arms and a tail. It is highly aggressive and resides mostly in deserts, but recently these entities have been seen attacking travelers.
Oh, wait, no, I know this. Stop. It's it's evolved form. Drapion. Is it a Drapion?
I do not know the names of these entities in your children's game, Doctor.
Yeah, Benny, look at this. Got the Pokedex app. That's what he's talking about, you reckon? Yeah, that does look a lot like what you was describing. Sorry, Dresgy boy, but that's another 2.5 points to Champ here.
Ms. Jones may have been correct about hell existing. As I was saying, P452 has been seen...
Oh, yeah, that one, we already got addressed. Then move on to a new Pokemon.
I feel I did not inform you particularly well about what that entity is capable of.
Yeah, but like I said, we ain't really here for that. We're just here for the game. Give us a new one. Or actually, I got a little theory here. Give us, say, SCP-P42.
That was not on the docket of entities I intended to inform you of today.
Trying to stay on track. Good move. I think that's a solid B+ to Dresden.
Why are there now letter grades involved?
Question and authority. I like it even more, bumping that up to an A-. But do as Champ says, what's P42?
If I recall correctly, item number SCP-P042 is a bipedal blue and purple bat.
Oh yeah, my theory was right. Let me guess, with a real big mouth and barely any body at all. Maybe evolves or grows from a smaller bat with no eyes and 2 tail things.
And how, may I ask, did you know that?
Cause you see, Prof, there's this thing called the Pokedex in the games and the show and stuff that classifies all Pokemon with a number. And the number of the SCPs you're describing is the exact same as the correlating Pokemon in the Pokedex. See this right here? Pokemon 42. It's called Golbat. Looks like a cartoony version of what you was describing, right?
In a juvenile sort of way, it does look alarmingly similar, yes.
You spent 20 years studying Pokemon. I thought I was a nerd for being a grown man who knows the law for Five Nights at Freddy's. Also, just as an aside, seeing a picture of Golbat with its mouth closed? Super creepy, don't like it at all. Look at this. Oh yeah, I don't like that. Some folks is just better with their mouth open and flapping, like me.
I'd have to disrespectfully disagree with you there, Sharp.
Brutal honesty. I'll give that a +1 for the honesty part, but a -1.2 for the brutal part. And Champ, getting that Pokedex SCP connection thing, I'm giving you 6 gold stars for that.
Gold star... Well, perhaps your children's game has a version of this creature, but I'm guessing, unlike the real-life SCP equivalent, it does not consume the blood of its living victims at a rate of 300 cubic centimeters of fluid per bite, and will drink so much blood that it becomes unable to fly until it has digested.
No, yeah, but the Pokedex says all that too.
There is no way that can be accurate.
Yeah, he's telling the truth there, Prof. Take a look at the Pokedex.
My goodness. I thought these games were for children.
Yeah, it says they for everyone ages 7 and up. 7-year-olds like creepy stuff too.
Am I correct in assuming that now that we have determined that entity P042 is this Golbat you speak of, you no longer care to hear more about what kind of trouble these creatures are causing their world's residents?
Yeah, not really. Give us a tricky one. Something unique, but not like too unique and obvious. I won't look up the numbers so I can still guess. I don't know them by heart or nothing.
I do not know how to follow those directions, but I suppose I could move on to item number SCP-P141.
Oh dang, that narrows it down to Gen 1 already, but it's fine, go on.
P141 is a Euclid class entity, and a very rare one at that. I was never able to study it alive within my own dimension, though it does exist within P069. In my world, it was known to have existed, but we only ever had skeletal remains of it, as it was believed to be an entity that existed tens of thousands of years prior to modern humans emerging.
Alright, narrowing it down, gonna be like Omastar or Aerodactyl or something like that. Drizzy boy keeping it nice and vague on the build-up. I'm gonna give you 2 gold Cougaroons for that.
It is an aquatic entity that came up onto land after evolving from a smaller entity which heavily resembled a horseshoe crab.
Oh, I got it now. Does it have like scythe arms and it's brown and has kind of like a crab raptor sort of vibe to it?
I suppose that is a fairly accurate description.
Yeah, it's Kabutops. It's not a Pokemon I ever really knew that much about. Like, it was cool looking, but I was always more of an Aerodactyl guy for the old fossil Pokemon. Kabutops, huh? I like that name. It sounds like it bops to the music. Was it like a potty dinosaur or something?
It sounds rather childish and playful for how violent and dangerous this creature can be.
Hey, what do you want me to say? I didn't name the thing, but it's right here. Ow. Kabutops. I didn't quite get... I was close. How many points do I get for that? Any? I think I'll give you a half a Cougaroon for that. It was close, but not quite. Yeah, alright, that feels fair.
Mr. Sharp, are you attempting to say gold Krugerrand, as in the form of South African gold coin?
No, it's definitely called a Cougaroon here in this dimension. Maybe it was called something else in your world, but here, Cougaroon.
I suppose technically I do not have enough information to argue with you.
Trust me, Benny's been right about some real weird stuff before. Like how in his world, a busted clock can be right 3 times a day, because instead of going by 2 increments of 12-hour cycles, they go by 3 increments of 8-hour cycles, to make up for 24 hours of a day.
I'm not sure I'm inclined to believe that either.
Logical skepticism. That should get you points, but instead I'm gonna give Champ 8 more Krugaloos because logic is not super effective against me. Oh yeah, thanks, Benny. Wait, was that an intentional Pokemon reference? Was it what?
I feel regardless of whatever I had in mind for this lecture, you two will just override it with whatever you'd like me to discuss. So I hand the floor to you for whatever infuriating requests you may have.
Yeah, that's fair. But you know what? I want to know if every Pokemon has a creepy SCP sort of equivalent. Like, even the silliest ones. I want to know about... something like Miltank.
Yes, I understand. Item number SCP-P241.
Wait, you just know that one offhand, Drizzy boy? I thought these things didn't have names in your world.
That is correct, but with a name like Miltank, there is really only one entity that springs to mind, which is P241.
Oh yeah, look at that, he's right. 241 in the Pokedex. Gotta give him points for that. Well, that's 6 SpaghettiOs for you, Drizzy, and -2 to Champ for telling me how to keep score. But then another 3 back to you for some good sportsmanship. Okay, I think I'll get that. But really, I'm losing track of the score, to be totally honest.
How could anyone keep up with the score in the... Never mind. For some reason, you people only ever request someone speaks about 3 to 4 entities per meeting, as was oddly similar back in my realm and time, so at least that means we are almost finished.
Yeah, 3 or 4 monsters, mechamas, superheroes, it depends on how long the kind of drawing takes.
I don't exactly follow...
No, don't engage with those kinds of comments, Dresden. It's just gonna confuse you and gonna get off track. Let's get back on to Miltank.
Item number SCP-P241 was a semi-humanoid pink cow with black markings along its body. It was classified as safe and was even allowed to wander freely around the containment site it was housed in, back in my world. We only ever found females of this entity and are not certain how they reproduced. But the most commonly noted thing about these creatures was that the milk they produced had a very high nutritional value and provided a staggering number and daily percentage of vitamins and nutrients to whomever drank it. Even the lactose intolerant could consume this milk without being affected.
Wow, that's useful and nice that it was safe, I guess, but I'm really picturing just the creepiest standing cow, and I don't like it.
Whatever you are imagining, take my word, it was more unsettling to regard than even that.
So, what did this thing's milk taste like, Drezzy?
Its taste actually changed with the season, becoming more bitter in the winter months and sweeter in warmer weather.
Oh, so, how many times did you drink this creepy cow person's milk, and did you drink it right from the udder?
No, I never actually partook in it myself. I simply read the documents that explained what the flavor...
Yeah, I'm not buying that, Dresden. You wouldn't remember it this clearly if you didn't have a little sippy sip yourself.
I don't care whether you believe me or not, the milk was genuinely nutritious and would not have been unusual for employees at the site to partake in.
I'll give you 10 more SpaghettiOs to your score if you admit that you drank it.
Fine, yes, several times, and it did taste quite good. At least in the winter months. I prefer bitter flavors.
That surprises absolutely nobody, and I think that does bring us to the end of our game.
Finally. And not that it matters, but may I inquire as to what the final point total was in this asinine game?
How am I supposed to know? I was just saying nonsense the whole time. But I'm gonna say Drezzy won this one. We put you through the ringer today. I think you deserve a win.
Yes! Not that it means anything, but I appreciate the gesture and victory.
Very curious to know what you all thought of the tone of this episode. Do you like the old tone better? Do you like this new tone? I'm not going to set this as the default for SCP episodes going forward, but maybe for another Pokemon SCPs episode. If you like this banter and you want more like that, I've got a whole playlist with all of my banter videos in it, covering a whole range of different topics. Or if you want more of the classic Pokemon SCPs with a more serious tone, I've got a compilation of my first 6 episodes, and then there's 2 more episodes after that. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note. And the thought I want to leave people with today is another quote from Alex Hormozy, who said that winning is impressing the future version of yourself. And that one really resonated with me because when I think back to me in the early days of building PopCross Studios, even though my storytelling and writing is significantly better now, I look back at that version of me and I go, yes, you killed it. You got me here and I will always appreciate that. So I hope that thought's inspiring. I love you all and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday. Goodbye.